Welcome to the Wakey Bakey podcast.
Beside the candlelight, a place they read satanic rite. From deep dark depths the shapes appear. The beast they do shall someday fear. Sound severe, a modified ionosphere. Weather wars and Tesla gear. Cataclysmic cavalier. We've got our dreams, they've got their missiles. Human versions of doggy whistles. Brown note make you shit your pants. Put you in an ambulance. Another coal-fired power plant. Tornadoes twist Los Angeles. Bullets buzz by like a swarm of hornets. These are the days of destruction and torment. Don't listen to me, but I think it's important. These are the days of destruction and torment. Bullets buzz by like a swarm of hornets. These are the days of destruction and torment. Don't listen to me, but I think it's important. These are the days of destruction and torment. These are the days of destruction and torment. These are the days of destruction and torment.
Alright, we're back at the Champs Convention here on the Wakey Bakey. I got my new friend James over here.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
Introduce yourself, talk about things.
Yeah.
You can situate that. We got our fucking video over there. We got our fucking audio over here. We're ready to go.
I'm James Kerr, the host of We the People Radio.
Yeah.
We talk a lot of politics, news, conspiracies, and the clown world that we're currently in. We talk a lot of cannabis. And
I gotta say something real fast
go
because you just said that and it just suddenly struck and rang a bell with me. Did you guys used to fuck with Jack Blood? No? Do you remember that guy? He used to fill in for Alex Jones for a while.
Okay.
And that was back about 2004, 2005.
That's when I got into Alex Jones around that time.
Yes.
That was like my wake. I grew up 20 minutes from Manhattan.
Okay.
So the 9/11 when the commission report came out, World Trade Center 7 going down,
Yeah.
and they said it was office fires.
Yeah.
I called bullshit. I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
Like, bullshit, no way. And then that led you down all these other rabbit holes. I was like, all right, well, if you lied to me about this, what else are you going to lie about?
Right, exactly.
So they went to JFK, to secret societies.
Yeah.
You know, I learned about Epstein and the pedophilia in 2005, man.
Yeah, man.
Like,
Yeah.
it's heavy stuff.
It is.
No, I didn't know about Jack Blood. I was big. I'm not a
punk
fan.
rock. He's the punk rock.
And I'm a big punk rock
Conspiracy
guy.
guy.
I'm a big punk rock guy. Like,
Gotta look him
I
up
hate
online.
punk rock now. Punk rock now sucks.
It's changed. It's not punk rock anymore, bro.
It's I'll suck the. Can I curse here?
Of course you can. You say what the fuck you want.
I'll suck the establishment's dick now. Like, I loved punk music because it was anti-establishment.
Of course.
That's what I loved about it. And now,
It
like,
was
Rage Against the
shitty.
Machine is charging
Dirty.
$300. You have to be vaccinated to go. Like, are you kidding me?
Right.
Like,
right.
what?
Right. That's absolutely right, bro.
Fuck you, I'll do what you tell me is exactly what Rage became. Like, all of it. It's garbage. It drives me nuts, man.
That's absolutely
And that's what I
fucking
grew up
right.
on. Like,
Yeah.
I grew up on that anti-establishment, like No Effects,
Yep.
Minor Threat,
Yep.
like all these old school punk bands.
Yep.
Like Pennywise, I love them because they haven't sold out. The bassist for Pennywise follows me. And
Oh, cool.
Yeah, dude, he's
That's
badass.
fucking
He's a badass dude.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they're
fucking
still
badass.
anti-established. They're screaming fuck
and there's
authority.
a few of them that, you know, they're just like, I'm fucking sticking to my guns. I've done it this long, goddammit. We're gonna fucking live it all the way to the fucking end. And that right there is very rare. I mean, let's look at Mr. Lydon, Johnny Rotten. If he couldn't sell out anymore supporting fucking Trump, and it's just like,
we got a big disagreement there. I think he's the first person that didn't sell out.
yeah?
I think he's the first person that didn't Trump sell out. Oh, big time.
Yeah?
1,000%. Look at our country right now, dude.
Well, that is true.
Look
That
at what's
is
going
true.
on in our country. Look at how much money we had in our pockets. Orange Man Bad wasn't really Orange Man Bad in reality. It was look at how the media manipulated everybody.
They totally did.
Everything
brother.
was a giant manipulation. Like I don't get how people go down conspiracies and think about it's funny to me because I was the opposite. For me, I was going down all these rabbit holes, but I believed all of the DARE gateway theory garbage about marijuana because I was a high level athlete.
Right.
And
they'll brainwash the fuck out of you with that shit.
Big time.
I grew up in the 80s, the beginning of that fucking DARE shit.
Big
I
time.
know all
about it. I was a high level athlete, but I was going down rabbit holes already. Like, I was already researching the satanic pedophilia, like Operation Mockingbird, and all these things that were going on. So it wasn't until after high school that I realized that they lied to us everything about cannabis as well. And I'm the type of person that when I do something, I have to find out what I did. So I started researching heavy about cannabis, and I started to realize, I was like, wait a second, our body has an endocannabinoid system. We have receptors to receive these cannabinoids. Like, there's clearly medicinal benefits. Like, I completely red-pilled myself as far as cannabis goes. But you have to realize right now what's going on in our country. Our media has lied to us about literally everything.
Yes.
So I'm here to tell you they lied to you about everything about Donald Trump as well.
See, but this is my take on this.
Go for it.
And I did an interview. Do you remember who Cindy Sheehan is?
No.
So Cindy Sheehan, her son Casey Sheehan, was a big casualty that came out in Iraq when they were trying to take, I think it was El Sadr City.
Okay.
The people that they were trying to take out killed him, and then they put those people in power less than 6 months after that.
Sounds like our Central Intelligence Agency.
The whole family was in mourning, and she flipped out, going, "Why the fuck did you kill my kid, for this?" And then in the months to come, when she stayed up with everything and saw it, she was really unhappy with it. I did an interview with her. I produced an interview for Jack, because I had produced a television show for him for a while in Texas when we were there. And we did an interview with her, and there was a fucking big ass Ron Paul banner back in the side, and she was just like, they're like, "You don't want to support Ron Paul?" This is at Brave New Books in Austin, Texas, and she's like, "I don't want to be anywhere near that thing." And they're like, "Why?" And she goes, "Because if he got to that level, he's got fucking blood on his hands already anyway." So at that point, that's where anytime I hear Donald Trump, any Biden, any of them,
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Because I'm not a Republican. My red pilling was hating Republicans. They were warmongering. Like, let's go to war. Like, that's why I never joined the military, because I never believed in the wars that we were fighting. They were all fake and gay. They were all for profit. And the Halliburtons and the Lockheed Martins and all these giant corporations, the private prison industrial complex, like all of these things, we can go on and on. The Republicans are all give us lip service. They tell us what we want to hear, and they do absolutely fucking nothing. They're sending $40 billion over to Ukraine when our country's fucked. We're totally fucked right now.
Here.
It's so fucked. We're sending $40 billion over to Ukraine, where the president is having photo shoots for Vogue magazine and concerts with U2 in the subway in a war zone, guys. Fucking like it's a joke. So here's the thing, what I have to tell you about Donald Trump. He's the outsider.
Okay. You're right about that. I agree with you on that.
This is why the entire establishment that we're sitting here talking about how terrible they are, all the Republicans, like when Donald Trump announced he was running for president, everybody hated him. Like, Fox News is garbage. I'll tell you that right now.
Of course.
Trash.
Of course.
CNN, trash. OAN, trash. They're all fucking garbage. They're all part of the Operation Mockingbird, the intelligence organizations. They all run these media organizations.
It's all a psyops.
Donald Trump was the only person that was on the outside looking in.
Okay.
Only person. This is why they attacked him. This is why they went after Donald Trump. And it's so funny to me. Like, one of my favorite things, I've been going down this rabbit hole for years, at Jeffrey Epstein. It's a big thing now. Everybody's talking about it.
You're right.
He didn't kill himself. We all know this.
Of course.
I've been saying for years, there's a giant elite pedophile ring that trafficking children. His first arrest, I was trying to show people, James, you're crazy.
Right.
And one of the victims, Virginia Guffrey, she was the woman photoed. She's a young girl photoed with Prince Andrew. You know that photo with her, the young blonde woman? That's Virginia Guffrey.
Okay.
She testified in court saying that every single room of every single one of Jeffrey Epstein's properties was rigged for audio and video. Every single one. So it's a giant blackmail operation.
Sorry, man. We're doing a podcast right here. It's no problem. It's no problem.
Okay. It's a giant
blackmail. We're out here with tons of people. It's fucking, it happens.
I do events all the time, dude. I get it, dude. I do these events all the time. But it's a giant blackmail operation.
Yes.
So that being said, in 2009, when he got arrested that first time, they gave him that sweetheart 2-year deal. They stepped in. They pled down to child prostitution, soliciting child prostitution. He got 2 years.
What you're talking about.
He was on work release, still diddling kids while he was on work release. Barely spent any time behind bars. Sick as fuck. And that happened because of the Clintons. That happened because the Clintons stepped in. Because it was the local police that brought charges, not the federal police. This time, it was the federal police. So when that happened, the victims, they got their own lawyer. They're like, this is ridiculous. Like he's a predator. Like he's a pedophile.
Right.
He needs to face more than 2 years in jail. So they brought a civil suit. They hired their own lawyer. The lawyer for the victims subpoenaed everybody who was in contact with Jeffrey Epstein. Everybody.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There's an interview of this lawyer who represented the victims that for the first case that Jeffrey Epstein went through. He's like, listen, I subpoenaed everybody. Nobody answered. Nobody came to help me except for one person. One person came to help me. Donald Trump. He's the only person that gave me actual evidence that helped our case. Nobody else was going to help me. Now,
isn't there a bunch of pictures of him with these people?
Of course. He's a billionaire, and
they got turned on him too, you think?
If they did, they'd be presenting it everywhere.
That's right.
Look at what they're doing to him. They're literally attacking his son when he's 14 years old. Like they're going after this man every which way they
possibly. It does get crazy. I will give you that. Like my bottom line, like I said, that's my blinder where I go to with anybody in politics.
I'm with you on that.
Corrupt motherfucker.
I'm 100% with you on that. But this is the thing. That establishment that we hate, they're all attacking one man.
Right.
Why are they attacking this one man? If he was one of them, like think about this. Donald Trump was never part of the club because the NFL owners, one big club. Vegas casinos out here, one big club. Donald Trump, guess what? He tried to join the NFL and buy a team. Tried twice. They said no. Why? Because he's not part of the club. He's not controllable. He tried to open up a casino in Las Vegas. They said no. He opened up one in New Jersey. Opened up a hotel out here because they said no. They never let him in the club. Why? Really think about it. They never let him in the club. He tried. He wanted to be an owner. It's not like he's like, all right, I'm going to start my own league. He started his own league. He tried to get in '98, tried to buy the Jets. I'm a Jets fan. It's miserable. I wish he bought the fucking Jets because maybe we'd have a fucking championship. The Woody Johnson's a bum. But at the end of the day, he's never been part of this club and the establishment that you and I are sitting here both agreeing on that sucks.
Right.
They're evil. They're corrupt. They're pedophiles. They're satanic. Like we can go down in the list forever, and they don't give a shit about us. They're all attacking him. Why? Operation Mockingbird, the media, they're all attacking him. Why? And every which way they are, and they've been proven wrong left and right. Like Russiagate, they had to make everything up. Like the guy who invented the P-tapes, he's getting prosecuted in October. Igor Danchenko, he's getting prosecuted in October because he made up the P-tapes. He was Christopher Steele's number one source of information, Igor Danchenko, for the whole Steele dossier. He's already arrested and indicted. He's going to court in October. So like these things are happening. The media won't talk about it. Why?
Yeah, there's a big blackout right now for sure.
Why? Because they don't want Donald. They don't
There's
want
ugly shit coming in. They don't want to let that fucking cat out of the bag.
Why before the election did they say the Hunter Biden laptop was all fake and gay? Why did they say that?
Oh yeah.
Why? If now it's 100% real, they had to come out and say it's 100%. Now there's videos of guys smoking crack with strippers and pictures of his little young niece half naked on his phone.
Right.
Yeah. So like, why did they do that? And now it's all 100% real, and no one's talking about it.
Right.
Like, why is nobody talking about it?
Right.
So
it's true. No, there's a big media blackout with that shit. I'll agree 100%.
So I'm with you on the anti-establishment. But for me, Johnny Rotten's the only person that didn't sell out. He's the only person that didn't sell out. He's the only person that didn't cuck to the establishment because all of the other ones are bending their knee to the establishment, doing what the establishment says.
Is this true?
Every single one of them. He's the only one that went against it. Isn't that as punk rock as it gets? Doing what everybody else is doing?
You are right. I'll agree with you on that.
That's the most punk rock thing you could possibly do.
True.
That's what punk rock is built on.
I stand corrected on that one. That's a good way to look at it. It's just like I had a friend of mine when Miley Cyrus started all the fucking twerking shit.
I'll discuss that's all part of the programming.
So when all that fucking came out, he was like, I was like, that is complete fucking garbage. That is complete trash. And he goes, nah, man, that's the most fucking punk rock thing out here nowadays. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he goes, she had that fucking squeaky ass clean image. She's out here acting like a fucking hoe like that.
But that was done on purpose.
Of course
look what it did to generations of young girls.
Exactly.
It destroyed them.
It
destroyed them.
It demoralized and lowered fucking standards left and right.
Let me ask you this then. A lot of people say, "Oh, I don't like Donald Trump because he's racist. I don't like Donald Trump because this, that, and the other." Are you one of those people that think he's racist?
It's not so much that. I just think I think there's a lot of things that come out of him that I just don't agree with, because I feel like he
Give me
doesn't
an example.
He doesn't know what it's like to be fucking poor like I am. He doesn't know what it's like to be a common person like I do. That's how I've always felt about him. But he lives an elite lifestyle, and I don't feel he really cares about motherfuckers like me and you. Real
I disagree.
People. Okay.
I disagree.
Let's hear it.
The reason being, what's her name? Jennifer Hudson. Lost everything. What did he do? Gave her a free place to stay, live.
That is true.
Gave her a free place to live. You hear the story about the guy getting mugged in New York City, where he stopped his limo, made his limo driver stop, got out of the car, beat the mugger with a baseball bat, and scared him away.
No shit, I never heard about that.
Yeah, he did that in New York City.
Wow.
Absolutely, 100%.
Wow.
So the guy gives a shit about the common man. Why do you think our taxes were lower? Why do you think, for the first time in our life, that gas was affordable?
I will say, things were going in a very different direction. Things were not going as crazy as they said it was.
Think about pre-Trump. How much was gas? $5.
That's right. You're
Over $5.
absolutely right. I lived in Austin, Texas. God damn, it was expensive as all fucking hell.
I grew up in New Jersey. It was expensive as fuck.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Donald Trump gets in. Gas gets below $2 for the first time ever.
Yeah,
and this is pre-pandemic. It was below $2.
This is true.
Pre-pandemic. Okay, our taxes cut in half. We get rid of the death tax. When people die and you have to pay taxes, you got rid of that. He got rid of that. He gave us.
That is actually true.
He gave us right to try, right? So if you're given a death sentence, you're told, hey, listen, you have this type of cancer. There's no cures. You're fucked. He now passed a bill called Right to Try, where we can now try experimental drugs. Because
the U.S. was not letting.
But guess what? He did. He did that. He's a big advocate for school choice, which I think is the biggest thing that we need in our country for our children. Being able to choose what school we send our kids to, rather than getting stuck.
You're stuck in this district right here, and you have to go to this school right here. Because that's exactly what it was for me when I was a kid.
Bingo.
I didn't have a choice.
He's a big advocate for school choice.
There was a lot of dumbness going on there.
He funded the HBCUs. He funded them. He put the office for the HBCUs, historically black colleges, in the White House, so he can keep a close eye on it and make sure they're getting the proper support. Really? Joe Biden, he defunded HBCUs.
These are the things you don't really ever hear about.
No, because the media doesn't talk about it.
Right.
Guess what? Donald Trump, he did prison reform.
Okay.
Prison reform. He actively got people released from prison.
Okay.
97% of which were actually black people that were affected by the prison reform.
Okay.
Got released from prison because they got these ridiculous charges way back in the day, the three strike rule, et cetera, et cetera. He created prison reform.
That's some fucked up shit.
He was putting out the Platinum Plan. The Platinum Plan was going to give the black communities $500 billion. $500 billion to fund all different types of things for education, the infrastructure in inner cities. $500 billion is called the Platinum Plan. Congress wouldn't pass it.
Of course not.
No.
They're not going to work with him on anything.
No, of course not. Why?
They never work with any of them.
$500 billion. Don't you think that would make an impact?
Fuck yeah,
look what Black Lives Matter is doing.
It's true.
What black community have they impacted? They bought a couple $1 million homes. A couple $1 million homes living lavish life. They're living the elite life now with all that money that came in. You actually find out where that money is going. It's going to a company called Act Blue. Act Blue is where the BLM donations are going. Guess where Act Blue donates their money? Majority, Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders. Democratic Party, so it's going to rich, white, wealthy men. BLM, yeah, sure. Like, it's the dumbest thing ever, man. Like, you have to follow the money. You have to look into what's going on.
You're absolutely right.
And most people aren't aware.
Nowadays, most people don't believe anything that they fucking read on the internet. They just like, fuck it, I'm not going to fuck with it.
You should.
And they don't fucking even try anymore. It's very apathetic. It really is. Because I'm guilty of it myself. I'll be the first to admit it.
Well, think of how much they lied to you about cannabis.
Oh, that's definitely true.
They lied to us about literally everything. They don't even tell us.
They were just making, I mean, go back to Reefer Madness. They were just making up fucking ludicrous shit.
Harry Anslinger and the reasons why it was made illegal were all for money and greed. It was for rayon, nylon, these synthetic materials were coming out. And Harry Anslinger's buddy, he also owned a printing press.
Yep.
And didn't want to print paper on hemp paper because it was cheaper. He wanted to use lumber because he'd make money.
That's what I was about to say. This all goes back to money.
It all goes back to money.
Yeah.
They lied to us literally about all of that. So what makes you think that they're telling us the truth now?
They don't tell us the truth on
exactly.
anything, so that's the one constant that I do know.
Exactly. So when they're telling you that Donald Trump is this, that, and the other, you should probably believe the opposite because they've lied to us about literally everything. And you look at the actions that this man has done.
I hear you.
The actions. Like, look at how we were living prior to that,
is true.
he came in.
That is
all
true.
of a sudden, it was good again. Like I didn't see $2 gas in my adult life driving in my entire life. Like I remember being like that when I was a baby, when I was a kid driving around with my parents.
Right.
You know, but New Jersey, you don't get your license until you're 17.
Right.
So it was like $3 by the time I got my license.
Right.
You know, now it's and then all of a sudden it's back to where it was as soon as Trump gets out of office. That's not by accident, man.
No, you're right.
It's not by accident.
That's right. Well, I know. I'm from Texas.
Yeah.
I grew up in fucking West Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They got the largest goddamn pocket of fucking oil on the whole fucking planet, right there underneath New Mexico, Oklahoma, probably fucking Colorado, all that shit right in there. It's huge. They say it's so fucking pure. They brag about it all the time. They say it's so fucking pure they hardly have to fucking refine it. It almost comes out gasoline, they say. Now, Chinese companies have bought into the interest. This is the largest inland refinery that I know of is in Big Spring, Texas, where I grew up. That thing was always out my back door pumping fucking smokestacks. You can see as far back as I can remember. That thing is, from what I hear now, I don't know if this is true or not, but from what I hear, allegedly, they're not even fucking pumping oil or making gas right now. They're not even refining anything.
I'm not surprised.
If they are, it's probably going back to China.
Joe Biden told us that.
I know somebody who was a welder out there. His contract was bought up. They retired him whenever this company went in and bought the fucking refinery, and then they hired him back on as a consultant, and he gets a fee, ass backwards into the money. It's the fucking craziest thing ever.
That's the dumbest thing ever. Think of how many regular average Joe workers, though, that lost their job.
Completely.
And that was what they relied on, working in the oil fields.
Here's the other flip side to that, is they were working in the oil fields, and you get a lot of people from Louisiana that were displaced because of hurricanes and such.
Yeah.
And they've all fucking moved down there, and they're going along just fine, living their lives, and they got fucking more money than they know what to do with. But living in the oil field, and living in West Texas and working in the oil field, you end up with a fucking situation where you end up with a fucking drug habit. That's how you do it to keep your fucking sanity.
You got my man.
Hey, brother. Sorry, my man. We're trying to throw it. Oh, shit. This guy's supposed to be on the podcast, too. We're going to do another podcast together. I don't want to talk to you here in a little bit. But anyway, I'm sorry. Where was I at? I got fucking lost.
The oil fields and the drug problem.
They've shut the fucking oil fields down now too. So now people have fucking all these addictions, and they can't go back fucking home because they don't have no fucking money to, and they're stuck in fucking West Texas. And I hear that they're starting to drill some again. I don't know if this is true or not, but I had heard that Biden had shut a lot of that shit down.
He told us he was going to. He did, and then he just used our reserves and sent like 20 million gallons to China.
Crazy.
To China. Like what is going on, dude? Like why are we doing all this? None of this makes sense. Our country is fucked right now. Like everything costs $1 million gajillion. There's nothing on the shelves. Like this is literally turning into Venezuela right in front of our eyes.
I got something I want to ask you about real quick because I just fucking heard about this. I don't know if you know about this.
Go for it.
You're probably well more educated about this than I am. I just heard about this like last night, 2 nights ago. Right now, they're saying that Bill Gates is buying up a lot of farmland. A lot of farmers cannot fucking get
largest owner of land in the United States.
The nitrites or whatever that they need to fucking grow shit. And so they're selling their shit off, and they're paying them probably just a little bit of money. I'm assuming it's not a great deal of money because it usually never fucking is. They're buying up all this fucking land, and I'm from what I'm hearing, this is what this buddy of mine was telling me. He was saying, he goes, in the next fucking 7 months, you're not going to see a problem, but then when it hits, when they're all squeezed out, milk is going to be potentially $12 to $20 fucking dollars.
No. We haven't seen the brunt of it. You have to even think like the meat, the dairy, those foods haven't been processed yet. Like those animals haven't been sent to slaughter. Like
this is true.
The grain for them has gone up in cost tenfold. So where is that trickling down to us, the consumer?
Of course.
Bill Gates is the largest owner of land in the country, the farmland in the world. Okay, nobody owns more farmland than Bill Gates. Not just that, he owns all the patents for the processed fake meat, the Beyond Burger, the fake meat.
They're pushing the fuck out of that.
Guess what they're also pushing the fuck out of? Eating insects. They're eating the...
I saw some shit on that too.
The largest...
The protein is there for everyone.
The largest insect plant, cricket farms, just opened, one in Ontario, one in the UK. You have Nicole Kidman talking about, I eat mealworms as snacks, and I eat crickets as snacks. And she's doing a video eating them on camera. Nicole Kidman. And then Robert Downey Jr., he's like, I'm going to... He's on Stephen Colbert the other day. He goes, Robert, what'd you send me? And it's this glass jar of this brown dust in it. He's like, what'd you send me? Some drugs? He's like, no, it's cricket protein powder. He's like, it's delicious. He goes. So basically, I can just put this in all my food and get all my protein. And this is what they're advertising now.
We're fucking de-evolving.
No, this is what they want for us, dude. They do not want us eating meat. They do not want us to be healthy. They want us to be reliant on the government. They want Big Daddy government to come in and save us. I always tell people, if you watch Game of Thrones, did you ever see that?
A little bit of it. I didn't really watch a lot.
You know the concept how there's really wealthy people, the elites, and then there's the peasants that live in squalor. They want us to be the peasants that live in squalor. All of us. They all this is what they want for us.
Oh, and we've been going with classism for a long time. Big time. But it's coming. It's making a big fucking comeback.
There's going to be no middle class. It's going to be either super rich or dirt poor. There's going to be really no in between.
If you ain't part of the club, you ain't never going to be part of the club.
They want you eating bugs. Like research Agenda 21 and Agenda 2030. The World
I've read a little bit about that.
The World Economic Forum. Klaus Schwab tells us. He wrote a book, COVID-19: The Great Reset. He tells us we are going to own nothing and be happy. We will eat the bugs. He told us this was going to happen. He's the head of the World Economic Forum. What do you think they do at the World Economic Forum? You're telling me all the leaders of the world, all the influencers of the world, all the media people come to one place and they get together for a week and they talk about stuff? What do you think they're talking about, dude?
Of course. How they can fucking control our goddamn asses.
Bingo.
No, I know, brother. I know.
So this is what you're 100% right. That's what happened. Bill Gates owns a large majority of the farmland in the country.
I heard that and I was like, this is so fucking ludicrous. It probably is true. I hope it's not, but it probably fucking is.
Unfortunately, it is.
Wow.
Unfortunately, it is, my friend. And he's got moobs, man. He's got man boobs. You see those things?
Yeah.
Those fat breasts. Those fat gnats. This fucking guy. This fucking guy.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, Bill Gates is an evil dude. He's an evil dude. No, his wife divorced him because he got caught on the Epstein pedophile island. He was on the flight logs. Yeah, she was open about it. She talked about it. That's why she divorced him. She didn't like his connections with Jeffrey Epstein. I think it was just so he can give her his money, and then if he gets caught up, the money stays. Because think about this. He's on the flight logs. Oh, it's fucked, dude. It's fucked. He's on the flight logs, and the guy's one of the richest guys in the world. He's got like 6 planes. Why didn't he take his own plane to the island?
Right. It's gotta be sneaky.
Come on.
If you put it in broad daylight, they'll never notice.
They've been doing that for years.
It's true.
They do it right in front of our fucking face.
Yep.
Like they're sending $40 billion to Ukraine. They're like, hey, you guys, gas is $7 a gallon in LA, but we're gonna send all this money, $40 billion. What do you think $40 billion? People don't realize how much money that is.
Right.
Like really think about
that. That is a lot of fucking money. That is an insane amount of fucking money.
What we could do with $40 billion.
Oh, brother.
Bro, that could probably fill up this room in cash pallets. This giant convention center.
Right.
That's how much money it is.
Crazy about this, and this is what I think about. Remember whenever they were like, oh, we need to give a stimulus out because of COVID, and then it was a great fucking debate on how much money we got. Should it be 600? Should it be 800? Should it be 1,200? 2,000? What's the magic number here? What are we looking at? I don't feel like we went through near as much of that whenever we were handing over 40 billion all of a sudden. And I'm not saying that, maybe those people need some help, but I don't know that throwing money into a situation is going to solve the fucking problem.
The government needs to be taken out of everything, man.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
Private enterprise.
If you want to get it fucked up, put the government involved.
Look at our VA. Look at the post office. It's all a disaster. Like you want the government to get involved in our healthcare and our education. Right. It's a terrible idea.
Right.
Like this is like I'm sure we're gonna have a debate about this. And this is why I'm very for the Roe v. Wade decision.
Okay.
The reason being is because this decision has nothing to do with abortion. The Roe v. Wade has nothing to do with abortion.
All right, I would like to hear your take on this.
Roe v. Wade has everything to do with states' rights. That's what the debate was. Roe v. Wade was now the federal government getting involved in our health care. Okay. That's what it was about. Now it's up to the states to decide.
Okay.
So in state like California, New York, New Jersey, abortion's not going anywhere. It's going to be there. It's not going anywhere.
They're talking about in Texas now. I read this thing where they were saying that they're going to make a little island, like a little ship out there in the fucking maritime law.
Yeah. But
they can't fucking sue us then.
No, but this is the same thing. It's the same exact thing with cannabis. Cannabis is a states' rights issue. The federal government has no business being involved in the cannabis industry. It's a states' rights issue.
Exactly.
Same thing with abortion. Everything should be a states' rights issue. Like it should be up to the people in the state. The federal government should never get involved in anything.
This is absolutely true.
Anything, and that's what Roe v. Wade was the government getting involved, the federal government. So what the decision means is it takes the federal government out of it. Now it's up to the states. So if that's what you believe in, you vote for the candidates that believe that you should have abortion in your area. So now it's up to you personally in your area. And this is what our Constitution was written for. This is why we have the 10th Amendment. This is why it was written, because the federal government can't have too much power. We need to take the power away from the federal government. It's supposed to be the states.
True.
And that's if you actually look at the case of Roe v. Wade, and we can get into all that, all the numbers and things like that if you want. But if you actually look at the case, it wasn't about abortion. They used abortion to get give the federal government more power, just like they do with everything else.
Right.
So if you want abortion, go and vote for the candidates in your area, your governors, your legislators, your local government, your local politicians. Vote for those candidates that believe in freedom of choice. That's who you do. That's what you do. It gives you more power as a voter rather than the federal government giving a blanket statement. Are you juiced?
Yeah, that's THC.
No, did you get the vaccine?
Yes, actually I did.
I don't smoke with anybody. I appreciate that though. No, I appreciate the offer though.
Yeah, and I wasn't going to be completely honest with you. The only reason why I did it,
how many?
Because I had a fucking heart attack. I took 2. I took the 2.
I pray for you, my friend. I do.
There's been problems, and I wonder if it's that or what it is. I wasn't going to do it. My wife didn't do it. My kid didn't do it. And
thank God.
Back right after Christmas last year, we all fucking got the same thing. That's when I was like, I'm not fucking doing no boosters. I'm not doing this shit anymore. My doctor convinced me to it because he was like, you're a heart patient. If something fucking goes bad, you're gonna be one of those people that's fucking in the little hyperbaric thing, upside down, having to fucking breathe that shit out, get that shit out of your lungs. If you make it, you're probably not gonna make it because your fucking body is really bad off, and it's just like, he scared me into it. I was at the time I was gonna be going to Rocklahoma, and Oklahoma was a dark fucking red state as far as that shit went, and I was freaked out. My wife was totally freaked out about it. It was just like, at the end of the day, maybe I shouldn't fucking go. I ended up not going.
Again, what we were talking about earlier, the mainstream media lies to us about everything.
Of course.
And they lied to us heavily about the vaccine and about the virus itself.
Yeah, most definitely.
We know for a fact through Dr. Fauci's emails that it was created in a lab. Yep. I read every single one of his emails painstakingly.
I read some of them. I didn't read all of them.
I read every single one. We know for a fact I have the email saved in my favorites.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In my favorites. I can show you.
Oh, I know. That's a corrupt little weasel.
There it is.
He's like, here it is.
Dr. Fauci, I want to get this correct. I'll read the actual email right here. So here's an email from Dr. Fauci on March 11th, 2020, and it's from Adam Gartner to Dr. Fauci of the NIH and the NIDH. Coronavirus bioweapon production method. Hello, Anthony. This is how the virus is created. Intervention fusion of HIV, LUC, AC. So basically it was created in a lab and they used AIDS. Yeah. Anthony Fauci, guess what his specialty was his entire career? AIDS. Wow. He was the AIDS doctor.
Binary viruses.
That's literally his specialty. He literally, there's a quote of him talking about how he went to bathhouses to study AIDS.
Wow.
Yeah, AZT, that drug that a lot of people died from. Guess who created it? Anthony fucking Fauci. He was hated by the gay community back in the 80s because he killed so many people. He killed Eazy-E. That's how Eazy-E died, not from AIDS. Don't you wonder how everybody has AIDS? They live for years.
Everybody thinks that's a big conspiracy right there because this is how he dropped so quick.
That's exactly what it is. It was created in a lab, but AIDS was created just like this was. What do you think the bio labs are doing in Ukraine right now?
That's true.
They're all creating viruses. We know it was created in a lab, Wuhan. So. you lied to us about everything. Dr. Birx just came out in the news the other day. She's like, yeah, actually, we overplayed the vaccines. We actually kind of knew that that it wasn't going to work, but we overplayed it anyway, and we pushed it out anyway. We knew this was going to happen. So why did they do this? They knowingly told us to take this. Why? What is part of World Economic Forum and Agenda 2030? Isn't depopulation a huge part of that?
This is true.
Doesn't Bill Gates have a TED Talk talking about how vaccines can help us lower the population by 15%?
This is true.
Doesn't he have that TED Talk? Isn't he a big spokesperson for these vaccines? Even though he's not a doctor, he has no education, no none of this. He's just some smart guy.
Right.
I had Dr. Peter McCullough on my show. He was on Joe Rogan's show.
Yep.
I had him on my show talking about the vaccines, talking about the virus. It's all fucking fake. It's all created. I got China virus myself. I got it.
Yeah, I've had it a couple of times.
You know what happened? You know the reason why you got it a couple of times? Because once you get it once, Dr. Peter McCullough talked about it on his show. Once you get it once, you build up the antibodies because that's how viruses work. Once you get something, this is why I remember when we were kids, our parents sent us to get chicken pox with our friends, so we build up the antibodies. Same thing here. We get the virus, we get the antibodies. We no longer get it. The reason why you keep getting it is because you got the juice. The juice is keeping it going. And they just came out with a study, Pfizer just released it, that it actually keeps the virus going, keeping it alive. Yeah, it's crazy stuff what's going on with the jab.
The only reason my old lady didn't get it is because she has blood clots. And my daughter she doesn't have a vaccine one. We never fucking vaccinated her. She will not. When she turns 18 and she's a legal age, she put whatever the fuck she wants into her body, then she can put whatever the fuck she wants in there. By then, she's already going to be learned and educated, and she's going to know, hey, you know what? This is not for fucking me.
Why didn't
just like she's never eaten at McDonald's either.
Even better. That's a huge rabbit hole.
This girl is 10.5 years old. She doesn't know anything about McDonald's. Other than when we first moved here, my wife did Uber Eats for a while, and my daughter went riding with her, and so she walked into there to pick up food for somebody else. That was it.
So I would teach her what it is and how disgusting and terrible it is for you, because when you were a kid and you were told not to do things.
This is true.
I went and did it anyway in excess because I was told not to.
The bad thing about it is,
it's a good idea.
We're so fucking loose as parents. I was raised super fucking strict, Church of Christ, all that goddamn bullshit, and it was just like, the fucking guilt trip, you motherfuckers put your goddamn fangs of fucking guilt in my ass and fucked me up for a long time.
Turned me away from God for a long time. For a long time. I went to Catholic school, I went through it.
Okay, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And even here recently, I find myself, I've always been a lot more spiritualistic. I study a lot of different philosophies and religions. I read a lot of different things.
I don't believe in organized religion. I think it's nonsense. I believe in God 100%.
There's something out there we couldn't have all this that we have going on up here, first off, let alone the rest of our bodies, if it wasn't.
The endocannabinoid system, just that alone, and the cannabis plant,
it's true,
being created, like it had to be, that system had to be created perfectly by something. It wasn't just, it didn't just happen.
Right.
I 100% agree. And I'm very anti-organized religion, and I'm 100% with you on that. It turned me away from God, and because of the rabbit holes going down and realizing that these people that we're talking about right now are actual Satanists. They actually believe in Satan.
There's a lot of wicked ass shit going on. That was my education in religion, and now I look back at it and it's like, that was probably meant for me to go through, to see how corrupt things were, and to realize, hey, look, don't buy into this shit, because at every turn there was always some bullshit going on. There was always a dirty little it was always about money. That was the big thing.
Always.
Money runs everything. My best friend for a long time, when I was a kid, this guy introduced me to cocaine when I was 13 years old.
Jeez.
His parents were oil field fucking rich. I was the guinea pig to sit in there and talk to his parents, because Chad's hanging out with a good Christian boy, while he went in there and fucking snuck money out of his mom's purse so he could go get blow. Of course he wasn't going to do it alone. Here, try this, it's fucking good.
Yep.
And that's what you get. Yep. That's what you get.
Exactly what
Everybody's like, marijuana's the gateway drug. No, it's fucking not.
Booze.
I never started smoking weed on a regular basis until I was about 25. I think the first time I ever smelled weed was
I was
probably
19.
the first concert I ever went to.
What concert was that?
Actually, somebody was just asking me about this. I can't remember which came first. I want to say it was Metallica on the Justice
That's on
tour.
my bucket list, dude.
So it has to be the very first one. I can't really remember though because I saw the Cult.
Okay.
Somewhere around in there. I got to go to band camp when I was a kid.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, band camp, right? All good stories start off that way.
Any flutes? Any orifices?
There was very much a good education that I got. So first sexual experience, band camp.
Band camp. Hey,
I got
one time at band camp.
I got blown in an elevator.
One time at band camp, I got
Not
blown in an
afraid to
elevator.
say
That's
that.
fucking great.
I got blown in an
That's
elevator.
fucking
By
awesome.
a girl that was 16 years old and I was 13.
That's fucking great, dude. Love it. Love it, dude. The high school girl, you're a freshman, you're like, she's a junior.
I was a fucking,
you're fucking doing it right,
It
dude.
set my deviance off at that
Fucking
point.
love
But
it.
yeah, you know, that weed, I probably smelled it then whenever I went to my first concert. Be it the Cult, you know, it was on the Electric tour. I saw them open for Billy Idol.
Oh, man.
God damn, fucking
Good fucking shows,
That's some
dude.
good shit. I've
That's
seen some
good
fucking
shows.
amazing shows.
I've been to a few concerts. I've been at a lot of concerts, and Metallica's like them and the Chili Peppers are two shows that I haven't
Yeah.
been to that I need to. I've been to a lot of shows.
It's crazy because so I saw them on the Justice tour. I saw them on the Black album. I paid $27.50, I think, was what the ticket prices were.
Wow.
For
I was a
an evening
kid.
with Metallica. That was 3
so
fucking
young then.
hours. I got completely turned off to Metallica at that point. Loved the Black album when I first heard it, so I went to that show. They played the opening part of Blackened, the little solo intro.
It's one of my favorite
They
intros
went
of
in,
a song ever. It's one of my favorite
and
intros
they
ever.
fucking started playing another fucking song off Justice, and it was like, what the fuck just happened here?
I would have been so pissed.
They announced afterwards, we're gonna do a medley of a few of our songs because we've got so many to play. You're playing 3 fucking hours. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I remember sneaking off to the back and finding some old dude, and I paid him a bunch of cash to fucking buy me beer all night long. That was how I fucking spent the rest of the 3 hours of that show.
That's what I would've
So here recently, here in Vegas, they just came through.
Yeah, I just
And
missed
I was
that show.
like, maybe I'll go back and give it one more, you know, for nostalgia, because they're fucking still doing it. They're a lot better now than they were through the fucking 90s and the Black album. They took the alternative gamble, for sure.
Oh, dude, they sold out. Like Saint Anger was a disaster.
Oh,
It
the
was
worst. The
terrible. They
fucking
turned off the
worst.
snare drum.
It's his as an engineer and a producer. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't know what the fuck they were thinking, and whoever was the fucking yes man on that probably got fired because of that. In retrospect,
They
was
total. They
horrible.
ruined. They lost a lot of their
They
big
did.
supporting base.
They did. They
I wish
really
they would
did.
go back to Kill 'Em All, man. Like,
Oh, those were the great days. Those were the great days.
they'll never make an album like Kill 'Em All because Dave Mustaine did all of those
Right,
riffs, but-
right, and you got to keep in mind, Cliff Burton
was a major
was
part,
the
yes.
key
Yes.
to all of that great music back in those days. The greatest era of Metallica was when they first started.
1,000%.
At this point, they charge $350 a show. And they've got an opening band at this. It's not even an evening with Metallica anymore. They'll never make it back to that, unfortunately.
They
I
probably
wish they
can't.
would.
Yeah, they
I
probably
wish they
can't.
would. But at this point, you got to start thinking about this. How fucking long can these guys go on?
No, especially the way that they play. It's
Right.
Like,
That's a very
It's not like they're
rigorous-
Neil Young or Sir James
Exactly.
Taylor on the
You're
acoustic.
Not up there just
dude.
right. You're not just loafing it.
Exactly. But then again,
Lars,
you look at the Chili
man.
Peppers. They've been doing it as long.
True.
And you got Flea
This is
running
true.
around like a fucking madman.
I saw
or even
something
AC/DC,
recent with him.
Angus.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, they're savages.
To have that much intensity and that much fire at that age, fuck, if
God
I
bless
even
him.
had fucking half of that, I would be fucking stoked as all hell.
God bless them.
Fuck it.
Nah, Chili Peppers are coming around in October, I think.
See, I want to go see that, but I'm afraid to go to any shows here in any big venues because 9 Inch Nails is coming through. $500 goddamn fucking dollars. Are you serious?
Chili Peppers is like $400.
I believe
It's
it.
at Allegiant Stadium.
You know what's crazy is a buddy of mine was going to the Metallica show and he wasn't going to pay the $350. They ended up going in Arizona somewhere. I think it was Phoenix or some shit like that. They fucking get down there, right? When they get there, the tickets that they bought were fucking way cheaper. What they would have paid here for it, they paid for the whole fucking trip there, the hotel, He goes, I even gambled a little bit, and I still stayed within budget of that.
It's because it's Vegas, dude. And it's
That's
at Allegiant.
nuts,
It was at
man.
Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah.
Like, it's a stadium show. It's not like...
I mean, and I get it, you know, they can make it, so fuck you, pay it.
Yeah, no, it's going to pack out.
People are going to pay it anyway, why not?
Well, you have to think, it's Metallica, so everybody's going to fly
Of
into
course.
Vegas.
Of
They're like,
course.
oh, Metallica in Vegas, I'll go to the casinos, it's right across the
Yeah.
street, we'll party, we'll make a
Right.
whole weekend out of it.
Maybe if I'm lucky, I win all my fucking money back, and the whole fucking trip was covered.
They'll sell out regardless.
Yep,
So
that's true.
Us common folk, we're fucked. Us common folk.
Just on general principle, and maybe it's my fucking age showing through, I cannot fucking pay these prices
No.
for tickets.
No.
After what I paid.
That's
gone
why I
through,
didn't go to
I've
Metallica.
seen so fucking many amazing shows. I mean, I saw David Bowie with Nine Inch Nails opening up for him in
That's fucking
'95.
wild. That's fucking wild. I was a kid.
An amazing.
I'm jealous.
We were on window fucking paint
Did you-
acid
did you
in the
see, like-
pit. Right, I was right in front of Trent Reznor. He fell on me at one point. The fucking the guitarist Robin Vinnick fucking nailed his ass, and they both were on top of me, and I'm holding these fuckers up, and I'm trying not to get kicked in the fucking head by the steel-toed boots. One of the greatest experiences
That's
of my fucking life.
epic. That's fucking... So did
Window
you see...
paint acid. Wow.
Did you see... Oh, wait, that's the best. The fucking best. Did you get to see GNR before they fucking went to shit?
So, I'm going to tell you a little bit about GNR back in the fucking 90s because I lived this. I bought the very first, I got the very first copy. I bought it on cassette and LP of Use Your Illusion 1 and 2. I love those
You
fucking
waited in the
albums.
lines like everybody
I didn't
else?
have to. I was in a small West Texas town.
Okay.
The record shop had ordered a whole bunch of these things. The girl I was with, baby's mama number one, worked there at the time, so she had to open up the store that morning. So I was like, when you go in, before you ever even open, in case I don't make it, pull me the first copies back. So I already had the first copies set up from that. I wished I still had those motherfuckers, because goddamn, but I wore them out. I wore them out listening to them. But here's the trick about Guns N' Roses back in the day. You never fucking go see Guns N' Roses live,
No,
because
you never know.
there was a lot of instances, as you probably will remember, he would sit backstage smoking his cigarettes. I'm not fucking going back on out there. Fuck these people.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
are you being an asshole? Because I fucking can.
Well, look at
Still gonna buy
Metallica.
'em?
Look at the Metallica Guns N' Roses tour where,
That's
where
right.
James Hetfield got caught on fire. They went out and Vancouver rioted. That
That's
shit was.
right.
Oh, I'm a
That's right.
Metallica GNR fucking nut, dude. I
fucking-
got actually GNR tattoo.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, that's fucking sweet.
Yeah,
Badass.
dude.
I love
fucking
it. I love it.
that
I
shit,
love
dude.
Guns N' Roses. I've never seen them live.
I saw
just
them-
because of that. Now, I had a friend of mine when they played fucking Allegiant Stadium here. He worked there, and I was like, come on, bro. You get fucking free tickets to everything. Take Big Daddy with you. Take Big Daddy with you. I'll tickle the balls or something
Yeah,
here.
I'll
We'll work
fondle
something
you a
out.
little bit.
Right.
Do something,
We'll work
yeah.
something out here. And fucking, of course, he was out of town the goddamn week that fucking shit showed up. So he got off the hook with that one, but it was like, god damn it, man.
I saw them
that would have been my
twice.
fucking, that would have been my one in right there.
Dude, I saw them twice back east in
wow.
the East Coast, and when they were good, like not in the 90s,
Okay.
like recently, when they just
So,
got back together. It was
the
their first
Chinese-
tour back together.
Oh, okay,
It
with-
was their-
with
with
Slash and
Slash. Yeah,
Duff?
I wouldn't see them without Slash and Duff. I was pissed there was no Izzy.
See, and that was another thing. But I will tell you this. In this phone right here, I have fucking DJ Ashba's phone number.
Do you really?
Yes. I worked at fucking Sam Ash for a while, and that motherfucker came in. We just ended up being friends.
That's
He's a cool
fucking dope.
motherfucker. So he was the guy who took over and did all the shit for Slash, you know? Fucking that guy's, he's the salt of the earth. I love that
Really?
motherfucker. Cool
That's
as
fucking
shit.
nuts, dude.
But I would have never saw him in that era either. It would have been like going to see a cover band.
Yeah, it really was. And I saw them new with Slash and Duff, and I think they didn't even have Matt. They didn't even have Matt as their drummer. No,
Oh, wow.
it wasn't even Matt. Because Steven Adler is still a junkie, and he's got his own band,
Yeah.
but he's not. He's got his own
Adler's
band.
Destruction or some shit
Yeah,
like that.
something
I
like that.
think.
Yeah. But they were good. Axl had some Asian girl on the keys who was backing him up as vocals to hit those high end notes. But he did all right.
I was always amazed at the amount of pot that motherfucker smoked.
He was one of the greatest ranges. Him
on
and
the
Freddie Mercury.
Illusion albums, the biggest part of that few million dollar budget that they spent was that motherfucker day in and day out sitting in the studio smoking hella fucking weed.
Oh, and butts too.
And with a keyboard. He layered every bit of the orchestra parts on November Rain and all that shit.
One of the greatest songs of all time.
Also, I don't know if I should tell this on the podcast, but fucking I'm gonna, because you're a wild, crazy man
Love
too.
it. I appreciate
we'll fucking throw the fucking conspiracies out here.
I appreciate it.
I've worked for some big bands. I've done a lot of shit in the 90s. I worked for Pantera back in the day.
Bro, damn, dude.
I'm not
still
happy about that new fucking little thing that's coming out.
I'm still butthurt about Dimebag. I'm still butthurt about Dimebag.
You should be. It sucks.
Because I was a sophomore in high school, and I'll never forget. My buddy came to my lock. He's like, "Yo, Pantera's gonna go back on tour with Dimebag. Like they're gonna do it. They're gonna do a tour." And I was like, "Yes." And then like a couple months later, Dimebag got shot on stage. I was
so you want to know something crazy about that? A good friend of mine that I grew up with, probably the greatest fucking guitar player I know to this day. He's phenomenal. He was hanging out with a lot of the Pantera guys in Dallas, and he knew all of those cats. And right after that happened, within the first hour, they called him and told him that happened. I'm the first person that he got in touch with. Jeez. It's about to fucking hit. This just happened literally 2 hours ago. At midnight that night, I'm like, you're a fucking liar. I'm looking online, more hoping than anything, you know?
Of course.
Nothing.
Like
nothing.
when you find out your friend.
It was like 6 o'clock the next morning. I've been up all fucking night just on the computer. Man, this shit's not real. He's fucking lying. This is a hoax. Somebody's fucking with him. It started popping up. Wow. It was fucking real, man.
So you were saying you were working with bands in the 90s.
I worked with a lot of bands in the 90s. Where was I going with this? I got
something conspiratorial. You said something wild that you didn't even want to think about saying on the show.
No. So, the very first GNR album.
Appetite?
Yes. I know somebody who was involved with the fucking recording process, and he swears to me that none of the guitar parts that you hear on there was Slash.
What?
Slash didn't play any of that.
Well, he was a drunk. He was
too fucked up.
I believe
to play
that.
Any of it. Whether he knows this or not, they had another studio guitarist go in and play all that, and then he had to go back and learn all those. So I guess he did know.
I believe that because there was photo shoots where he was propped up. Like, this is why his face is always covered by his hair in the photo shoots, because he was
and the hat's always down low.
He was so blackout drunk all the time. He legally died. In an elevator. He legally died. They brought him back to life. He was a disaster. So
those guys were so fucking deadly back in the day.
They were maniacs. Dude. They were fucking maniacs, dude. But that's why they didn't last.
Of course.
You know, it was just. I wish I got to see them back in the whiskey days or like the old Sunset Strip days, dude.
So I had some friends of mine run sound in West Texas for Motley Crue. When they came through, he did the monitor mix, and this was in Girls,
badass,
when
dude. That's fucking sick.
Whitesnake was opening up for him.
Yep.
And afterwards, I was a participant to this. They did carry a big fucking glass table around with them, and I didn't see any of the Motley guys or the Whitesnake guys in there. It was just a lot of hangers on and shit like that.
Yeah.
But they did have a big glass table that they fucking had. They would set up fucking rails of cocaine on, and fucking they would have races.
I believe that.
People are like, they watch The Dirt and shit like that, and they're like, there's no fucking way.
No, there's definitely a way.
It was goddamn worse. They couldn't show you the shit that they fucking put in that movie. They couldn't show you how they really lived.
I was a magazine junkie back in the day. When you'd actually get real information and real interviews.
And I mean, Hit Parade or Circus Magazine. When I was a fucking kid in the 80s, those magazines were, I kept that fucking company in business. Those companies, whoever their broadcasting, their publishing was, I kept those motherfuckers in business.
It was a different time. You actually get real raw interviews.
We didn't have cameras.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
We couldn't fucking record and document every goddamn thing.
I was watching.
We didn't have our nose stuck into that.
I don't know if you're an old school WWF fan.
You know, when I was a kid, there was a shitty
too.
match that came to my fucking town, and I went to saw it. My dad was not into wrestling, and my granddad was, and so I was on the fence with it, you know, and he goes, go to the match, go check it out. So I went down there, and like literally the guy fucking, where the angle where I'm at, he takes a swing at the guy, but literally he was that fucking far away from me.
Oh yeah, especially
and it was just like, oh, this is low budget shit. You motherfuckers suck at what you do. And fuck, now I can't be into it no more. So I kind of lost out after that.
I was
respect the fuck out of what they do to their bodies.
I was a big old school like Ric Flair.
Yep.
Like that was my era. I grew up
grew up with that, yeah.
So the Ric Flair documentary, the 30 for 30 came out, and he's doing like another little documentary now. And he's doing a whole bunch of interviews. So he was on the show The Pivot with Ryan Clark and the NFL guys. And he was talking about it. And they were like, was the women that you slept with actually real? He's like, well, there's 365 days in a year. I probably average 4 or 5 women a day. Probably, yeah. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why can't you do that today? He goes, because there was no cameras. There was no social media. He's like, we were able to do the things that we were able to do back then. He's like, you can't do that today.
No,
like, he's like, I get attacked for even being a fraction of what I used to be.
Right.
And it's terrible. Like, it's sad. I wish you'd go back to that.
When the whole Me Too movement started, it was like, okay, how biased is this fucker going to be? Because I have been out on some big fucking tours. I have worked for some big fucking names. I've been not on major shit like I went across the fucking country with anybody, but I would do like little runs because I lived in Lubbock, Texas.
Yep, I heard of Lubbock.
That hookup. They all fucking came through there in the 80s and the 90s. I was in high school in the 80s. I graduated in 91. I moved to Lubbock as soon as I could. That was when I wanted to get into music. Yep. That was the biggest fucking place I could go to. I did too.
I quit because I didn't want to do math and English, and I didn't want to pay full sale a fuck ton of money.
You know what's funny is I knew, okay, I'm fucking strung out on meth right now. I've got a year, maybe best in me that I could fucking stay focused on this and do this. Let's see what we can do. So I went in and took nothing but fucking sound tech classes. The hardest fucking class out there was an acoustics class. It rivaled quantum physics.
Stop, no, it's serious.
I went into this classroom. I never fucking showed up. We have a test. It's one problem. There's 12 formulas you have to get the answer to this one problem. I'm done in like 25, 30 minutes. It's a 2.5 hours to take the test. I go take it up to the instructor and put it up there, and he looks at me and he laughs. He goes, what's this? I'm done. I don't know what you want to do, but I'm done. And he's just like,
did you get it right?
He's like, no, you're not. Go back and sit down and look over your work. Okay. So I went and sat back down, and 5 minutes later, I'm like, fuck, bro, I don't know what else to do. Like, I can't do anything else with this. I'm sitting here for no fucking reason, you know? And he's like, okay, fine. He goes, you can go ahead and leave. Come to class the next day, and I'm walking in, and he goes, man, I don't know how to fucking tell you this. Like, you aced that fucking test. He goes, you missed one little part of it. He goes, but you fixed it somehow in there. And basically what it was how much fucking the foam and stuff to dampen the fucking sound
for the reverb
to proof a room.
Yeah, like making a room with inside a room.
I understood it because it's fucking sound waves. It made sense to me. So I knew exactly what the fuck was going on. I understood exactly what it was. You put it in that fucking terms, he's like, you would fucking have an A in this class if you could show up. But because it was a fucking junior college, if you were late 3 times, it dropped a letter grade. So I didn't have because I was fucking strung out and I couldn't fucking make it to class. But I got what I needed out of it, which was the fucking education.
I spent all my time in college smoking weed in the parking lot. I drive all the way to my county college and just smoke weed in the parking lot. I only go to, like, they wanted me to take music theory. I was like, what do I need to know how to read and write music if I'm going to be the engineer and the producer? Like, what the fuck? Like, this is ridiculous.
It's a thing you must know is how they kind of fucking...
It's all about money. It's all about fucking giving money. Take these stupid classes. So I stopped going, and I was like, I'm not paying Full Sail all this fucking money. Like,
you know something? I knew a guy that was going to Full Sail, and the same guy that was telling me about the Slash thing.
And I believe, I 100% believe that.
He showed me pictures of his fucking Grammys and shit. It's the craziest thing ever.
That's fucking awesome.
He was telling me there's this guy back there that was working with me, and he was going to Full Sail. And fucking the guy was like, you know what? I hate to tell you this, but you wasted your fucking money doing this. And he's like, what are you talking about? The guy was gutted. He's like, what are you talking about? And he goes, I've been in a fucking Grammy Award-winning studio. I know how many fucking tracks they have that they record. They're almost 200 plus on every fucking song. You're not taught that. And we would never fucking have you in any fucking studio that we work in because of where you went to school. And it's like, oh, spent all that money for nothing. I went to a junior college just because I wanted to get the hands on. This was in 1995 when I went
That's what
there,
I wanted to do, yeah.
they didn't know what the fuck was going on because analog was starting to go out and digital was starting to come in. I knew more than my instructors because I fucking sat there and fucked with shit.
I wish we stayed with analog.
I love analog and I hate analog because it's so expensive and the medium with tape and stuff to record with.
It's so expensive, but it sounds better.
I love digital for the fact of what I can do. This right here.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
It's speedy on the spot. I could be anywhere. It's super nice having that. Yep. And the pristine quality that you can fucking get shit to is amazing too.
For the music,
I hear you. I hear you. There's nothing like the fucking sound of an album or record.
Nothing, dude. It's not the same. It does
everything pales in comparison. Digital, anything, it's harsh in comparative terms.
Yeah.
Tubes are the same way. They're getting goddamn good at fucking emulating that shit though.
They are. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better.
Crazy. The technology is always gonna grow. So on that aspect, I fucking love it. But on the other aspect, like I said,
the music industry is so fucked, dude. That's a whole other rabbit hole that we can go down.
God damn.
That's a whole other rabbit.
Are you local here?
I'm in Vegas, dude. I'm in Vegas local.
We're gonna do a lot more of these.
Are you out here?
Yes, I did this out of my fucking house, my garage.
So I do it out of my house. I got a full studio.
Let's fucking just collaborate back and forth. We'll do the crossover.
100%.
Every other goddamn useless fucking show on TV does it. We should do this.
Anytime, dude.
I have like 2 or 3 interviews set up, and I think those guys have come and gone now. I've had so much fun just sitting here fucking talking
I had a blast, dude. I love it. See, it's funny. Like, I love talking to people that have differing opinions. We don't agree on everything as well. Like,
just like you come on this show, most of my fucking fans hate goddamn Donald Trump. But you have opened up fucking eyes. You've opened my eyes up. I look at things a lot differently. I'm subjective to everything.
That's all I ask. Think for yourself.
You can't sit there and be closed-minded to everything. You have to be open to shit.
I'm open to everything. Like, if you present evidence that goes against what I believe, I'm perfectly okay with admitting that I'm wrong. And I've done it before.
I am too. I don't. That's why I'm sitting here. And anybody watching my fucking podcast knows I fucking railed on some Donald Trump shit, just like I've railed on fucking Biden. I rail on all of them because that's where my fucking mind frame's at.
I do it on every Republican base, and there's certain things that I do about Donald Trump as well because I don't agree with everything that he does.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I agree with the fact that he's helped more for the American public, for us, we the people, than any other president in our lifetime or even our parents' lifetime. Let's be real about that. And I always, my philosophy on my show, I hope somebody comes on that disagrees with me.
See, that's badass.
I welcome onto the show. Let's debate. Let's talk about
it. That's open. That's real. That's honest.
Exactly. And not just that. I don't want you to believe what I say. I want you to say, hey, look at this crazy asshole from New Jersey. There's no way.
We gotta look this shit up.
Let me look this shit up real quick. And you have to actually, like, don't go to like CNN and Google or Snopes or these like these fact checkers didn't exist until Donald Trump came into office. Like, really think about it. I get fact checked on everything. I have 40,000 followers on my Instagram, dude. 40,000. 40,000. 150 people see my stories because they shadow ban me so bad. Why? I've been kicked off of YouTube. I've been kicked off of Spotify. I've been kicked off of Twitch. Media Matters writes articles about me to get removed from Apple. Why? I'm just some fucking guy, dude. I'm a kid from New Jersey. Like, look at this. I'll show you live on air. Here's my account. 38.7. Ready?
Yeah.
Let's go to my stories. Ready? 68 people 8 hours ago.
God damn.
68 people see my story. Why? I'm just some fucking guy, dude. Why do they care so much about me? Am I a big threat? It's because I'm telling the truth.
There's an influence thing there. And
bingo.
People can find out the fucking truth to what you're saying. They can do that, figure that shit out. And that's what it comes down to, brother. That's ultimately what it comes down to. Because I've been doing conspiracy music and I've had conspiracy projects. My band Novadrone is very fucking.
What do you play?
I play everything.
What kind of music is your band Novadrone play?
So it's industrial. More electronic industrial.
Okay.
I'm very heavily. I'm wearing a Locust shirt, for God's sakes.
Love it.
Justin,
I'm a music junkie myself.
Justin and fucking Gabe Serbian was actually a friend of mine when he lived in Austin. I know those cats. I don't know if you're familiar with Retox and all those bands.
No.
You should check that whole scene out. That's real punk rock music.
I love new music.
That's real punk rock music.
I'm thirsting for it now because it's impossible to fucking find.
Because I mean, that's why I have YPLL and Unfuck the World tattooed on my knuckles.
I love it.
Is because of fucking Retox. I remember when I was a kid, when I fucking first listened to Shout at the Devil, my friend turned it on me. I still remember thinking, oh God, I'm so going to fucking hell for this, because that's what I'd been ingrained with.
Yep.
And the feeling that music gave me, I've never heard anything that made me feel like that until YPLL came out, which is why I got that tattooed on my fucking knuckles.
So funny you say that because that's what GNR did for me.
Okay.
That's what GNR did for me because growing up, I was a big skater. I listened to a lot of like the emo, Census Fail, Thursday, like very sad music. And you know, I learned to re-enjoy it again now later on. But at the time, growing up as a kid, like those are very impressionable years. And I was a very depressed kid, and I was like, I didn't know why. And then I got introduced to Guns N' Roses, and it's like banging girls, doing drugs and partying, and just living life, like just grabbing life by the seat of your pants and fucking going.
If you look, that was the closest thing to the Sex Pistols that was around, and that's why they got so big. All those fucking hair metal bands, nobody was like that.
No, they were different.
Those guys were fucking greasy, and they were
hated
dirty.
hair metal bands.
Exactly, and they were the real fucking deal, and you could tell it. Because I remember as a kid going, "Welcome to the Jungle coming on."
You're like, what
the fuck is this dude on? Like, I want some.
Why do you think Metallica did a tour with them? Like back when Metallica was Metallica.
They were.
Because that was when Justice for All was coming out. Like that was Metallica.
Yep,
this is like when they were not sellout Metallica.
This is true.
So like during the hair metal band era, there was some good hair bands.
This is true.
You know, I enjoy Poison.
I like the older ones more so, but I saw all of them in the back in the day.
Oh, so did I.
Tesla was probably the best one live.
Really?
Hands down.
Poison put on a good show. I've seen them.
They put it. It was Slaughter, Poison. Poison was a headliner, and I'm trying to remember who else. Firehouse or somebody like that.
Really? You know who put on a good show?
That was my era.
That I was surprised, and I'm so thankful that I got to see, because I didn't get to see Stone Temple Pilots for Scott Weiland.
I did.
I wish, but I saw Velvet Revolver when he was on Scott
Purple album. Got to go for free. The restaurant I worked with Lance Armstrong on the Lance Armstrong Foundation. So he gave us all these tickets to this shit.
That's fucking sick.
And we got to go out there. I was standing right in front of fucking Weiland. That motherfucker was a goddamn showman. He was the ultimate showman.
Scott Weiland is someone I'm glad I got to see. Chris Cornell is someone I wish I could see.
And I got to meet him right before he died.
That's a rabbit hole, dude. He was killed. He was murdered. He was murdered.
Right.
You know who he was working on, right? He was working on a documentary about human trafficking.
Yeah, no, I do. I've read that.
No, it's a major.
In Manchester.
Yes, he was hung. He was killed. He was murdered. Same with Chester Bennington.
Yes.
Same with Chester Bennington. Both of them killed.
Yep.
You know Chester Bennington's father is John Podesta, right?
No, I didn't know. Oh, wow.
You know who John Podesta is, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna blow your fucking mind.
Oh,
he was,
wow.
you know, he was a family friend, right? Chester talked about it. That John Podesta was a family friend.
Because I was never really big into fucking Linkin Park because I worked for Guitar Center for like 5 years. Every time Linkin Park came out with an album, their record label goes in and goes, "Hey, Guitar Center, if we give you a ridiculous amount of money, will you play every 15 minutes? Will you play a Linkin Park song?" And Guitar Center was a whore and said, "Of course." And that's what you got to hear with. Oh wow. Oh wow, that's fucking crazy, bro.
He didn't know his father, but
wow.
John Podesta was a family friend.
That's nuts.
Yep.
That's a great cliffhanger to leave us off
at that.
on.
Yep.
Wow. I got to get out of here because I got some other people coming. We're going to trade out information real quick afterwards.
Sure. Appreciate you having me on.
I'm going to have you on. All right. That's another segment here at Champs. Quick, you know what? Before you get done, drop your fucking information real quick.
Oh yeah,
your shit.
I'm James Curry, the host of We the People Radio. You can find us at WPRUSA.com. We got some sweet GTA merch right here.
Fuck yeah.
White Boy Summer in full effect. Then we got you can find us on Apple Podcasts. We're live every Tuesday, 8:30 Eastern on Rumble, on DLive, on Cloud Hub, on all those platforms. Come and hang out.
Yeah.
Come and hang out with us.
Sweet.
Appreciate you.
I love
having
it, brother.
me on.
You're going to be on again.
Oh, we'll definitely do it. Also,
definitely do this.
IG, We the People Radio with periods in between each letter. If you want to come and follow me.
Sweet.
Appreciate
I love it, man. Thank you, my man.
The podcast is sponsored by Jerome Baker Designs, Virtue, and the number 3.